I want to build underwater, but do I use compartments as defense? Is it worth it? Girl, what do you think?
Easy wipe, easy wipe.
Well, compartments do have 50k HP compared to normal metal structures. I don't know. Let's get into this and take a look.
Like and subscribe for great content.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Alpha Born. Now you may have seen a few of my past videos where I've built underwater and I have actually used compartments for base defense, but that brought up a few questions of course, so today we're going to be doing experiments, looking into every sort of detail and finding out is it really worth it, so stay tuned. So as you guys can see, I've made 4 very standard structures for what you would look into using while building underwater, and the questions basically are: do we have them open, do we have them closed, do we have them frozen, what's our main concern while using defenses along these lines? And to begin with, we're going to start with taking a look at what does what to each structure. Okay, so first things first, placing C4 on the walls is very tricky and very irritating for a raider, so that's a plus. However, a raider could just come on top and place. Now another side note to make as well: if a raider cannot place on a structure, let's say there's turret shooting, they can simply place on the ground next to it and use splash damage. However, if it's fully opened, then there's nowhere for the C4 to go other than on the actual ground. So if you were to build these, open them fully up and have them off the ground floating, C4 is automatically removed from one of the items a raider may be using. But again, placing them on the ground and using splash damage is something a raider can do, so definitely have them higher off the ground. Right now let's take a look at how much damage C4 actually does. So it's got 50k HP, basically 800, just shy of 800, and that's, like I said, on the ground. So to take C4 out of the equation, we're going to have to build that off the ground and open it up. Next thing to look into is the primitive tech rifle. I know some of you guys will have a better one, so this is going to be the minimum amount of damage a tech rifle will do. So 50k HP, shot, just under 200 damage, which would work out as 5 shots landed will take out 1k of HP, which I believe works out as something along the lines of 250 shots hit will then destroy 1 compartment. Finally, let's take a look at what a rocket can do. So again, 50k HP, 1 shot. Basically 500 damage. So rockets do more damage to these over a tech rifle, but C4 of course is king. Now the main thing to remember, C4 and rockets are your worst enemy against metal. So tech always defeats tech, and what this means is hitting these or damaging these with a tech rifle is far easier than using exploits or actually hitting them with C4 if built correctly. So let's look into which of these should we be using and how. So first things first, the closed option, where you have hatch trims on top and you box it in completely. You could have a generator in here, anything else that you may need, like a power saw. However, because there's a big giant wall there, it's very easy for raiders to hit, and that's also why Mr. Golem is here. If you don't have Mosers and you don't have underwater dinos, quite a common raiding method is to have a rider walking backwards on the golem with a swimmer between his legs shooting a tech rifle. And that's how you will get rid of compartments. Next question I hear quite often: with turrets underneath and turrets on top, is it best to have it half open? That does make a smaller difference in how difficult it is. As you can see, all my shots are going through, and now to hit the actual thing I have to be very accurate. If I go a millimeter to the left, miss. If I go a little bit to the right, miss. So now I have to hit where the frame is. However, my issue with this particular type of design like this, again, it's very easy for anyone to say get underneath it, whether they use a Moser or again they use the Golem to get underneath it, and as soon as they're underneath it, they have a very easy target to hit. So again, I don't recommend building like this. The version I recommend, and the reason why again is because it's open, it's so much harder for anyone to hit. So for example, if I just spray, now I've overheated. Let's see how much HP I've actually lost. Basically 7k, 6.5k. So if I'm tanking at the same time as trying to shoot with a tech rifle, I'm going to miss a lot more shots. And I have to being the raider, I have to be a lot more accurate. It's probably easier for a raider to just go for a turret and hit the hatch frame or the compartment. Now that's the same with all these builds, of course. But because there's so much leeway here for them to miss, I'm basically forcing the raider to consider if a tech rifle is the way to go, and if it is the way to go, how much element can I make them waste by missing their shots. Next question I generally hear quite often is, should we use them as actual turret towers or just individual boxes? Now again, an individual tower does have more firepower, yes, and the good thing with compartments is they break individually, which means if I destroy one, the other three are still going to be there. So in that regards, it is worth it. But again, do we have it open or closed? So again, with it open, nice easy big target to hit, and I can even hit it from above. I can hit the turrets. So having such a big bulk of structure right there gives a raider a very easy target with a tech rifle. Now if it's open, even multiple compartments, same again, I can miss a lot of these shots, which means I'm burning through my element or I'm burning through my resources. So again, I have to be a lot more accurate. And one last thing to look at, again, people ask, do we have turrets inside while it's completely open as well? So again, you can open it after, you have to have it closed to place the turrets, but once you've placed them, you can open it and they will sit there. Now same again, this gives me a target of turrets to hit, but again, if they're shooting, I have to tank while I'm doing this, or I have to, say, half build a Moser to get close enough to destroy it without actually being shot. But that can add more firepower. Only downside to that is, again, directly underneath, turrets aren't really going to reach me from here, so it's best to have multiple compartments in different heights and different locations, all sort of aiming or able to shoot into one kind of spot, and that way they can all watch each other's backs and they can all protect each other. So final sum up, is it worth it building in compartments as base defense underwater? My opinion is yes. You have the 50k HP, C4 can easily be removed from the equation, rockets are an exploit, but of course heavy turrets will defeat that. So your main concern is the tech rifle. Tech rifle does just under 200 damage per hit. If you open up a compartment completely after building on it, then again you really narrow down the raider's options. And don't forget guys, the main thing to remember is placement. Looking around and scouting your own base and thinking, how would I attack this, and then building against that. I personally, on official and unofficial, scout my own base at least twice a week, so I know what the plan is moving forward against certain raiding styles. Anyway guys, please leave a thumbs up if you found this helpful. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and until next time, I will catch you on Alphaborn.